Welcome. It's Joe Volpe, publisher of Corriere Canadese, on behalf of Go Live TV and Corriere Canadese Media Group, to talk about the issues that are happening within the community and within the health, patient, parent, care community. So over the course of this last week, we've been dealing with issues that have to do with childhood leukemia, with autism, and last Saturday we had an opportunity to attend the Lupus Ontario Italian dinner dance networking and fundraising event for all of those families that suffer from lupus. It is an amazing group of people. I don't like to use the word amazing, but they are that, who cope and who adapt and who look forward to lobbying governments, organizations, and others to address the sufferers of this disease. The evening was sponsored by two major sponsors, Alpine Welding and Carpenters Union Local 27. So let me go immediately to one of the people that we saw that evening as a first parent interview. And it's none other than Terry Pido, who came forward and offered her perceptions on the issues related to lupus. Terry Pido.
You're a parent of somebody who suffers from lupus. What do you think of this event?
I think the event is awesome. And it's great to have all these people come together and support the Lupus Foundation.
Wonderful. Now, everybody seems to be in good shape here. Yet, lupus is kind of a difficult disease to identify, is it not?
It is. It's the disease of the thousand faces, as they say. And children and adults who become ill with lupus are really, really ill. Unfortunately, at times it's very difficult to find the lupus, but with the test that they have nowadays, they do discover that it is lupus, and they treat it if it's caught in time. Other times, children and adults unfortunately have transplants, and it affects different organs of the body, kidney, heart, lungs, and all sorts of other issues in the body.
Well, you've been very good to give us this little brief rundown. That's a great introduction. We're going to be meeting with people of the executive, the volunteer group, the chair table of this, and a couple of very special guests who are expert in the field. Look forward to seeing you later on as well. Thank you very much for doing this with us.
Thank you, sir.
Well, she's being a little formal. It's not a question of sir, but we do have a series of individuals who that evening were both guest speakers and guest experts. And the first of those, as you heard Ms. Pido say, is none other than Dr. Murray Urowitz, who is a clinician at Toronto Western General Hospital, part of the University Health Network. And I think he's coming up next.
Okay, here I am back again with a very special guest tonight, Dr. Urowitz. He's going to be a featured speaker. He's going to be someone who's going to talk about lupus, about how the science is developing around this disease, and how the network of people and hospitals and the healthcare system is moving together to help out. Now, Dr. Urowitz, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for agreeing with this interview. Tell us something about yourself.
So I'm a rheumatologist who does general rheumatology, but my research interest is in lupus. I've been in this field now for a long time.
You look like a young guy to me, doctor. I don't know what that means.
Thank you. I'm director of the lupus clinic at the Toronto Western Hospital, University of Toronto Clinic, and we run a very large program in lupus.
Now, when you say large, give me an idea in numbers.
So we see our patients on a research protocol. So we're following 2,000 patients with lupus. We see them every 3 or 4 months. We fill out each time about 400 bits of information on them, which is entered on a computerized database. And we now have about 50,000 visits of lupus patients on that database. So
just a second. Now, when you say 50,000 visits, but a moment ago you said you're following 2,000 people. That means you've seen them about 25 times apiece?
Well, it varies anywhere from 8 times to 75 times, depending on when they came into the clinic.
But they all have different symptoms. They all manifest differently, do they not?
Now you've absolutely correctly described lupus. This is a condition where the immune system attacks the body and it decides which organ it wants to attack. So some have pleurisy, some have heart disease, some have kidney disease, some have skin disease, some have arthritis. So you're right. And that's why we have to document them on a computerized database so we can sort these patients out and say, who is similar to the next and how are we going to treat them?
So what is the most common of these that you deal with?
Well, we deal with all the different manifestations, but the most common manifestations in lupus are arthritis, that is pain in all the joints, and this is in young women generally, and skin disease. You know, they have rashes over their body. The distinctive rash is the rash that comes across the front of the face called the butterfly rash because it looks like a butterfly. So those are very common and occur in maybe 70-80% of patients. But then patients also have all of those other organ involvements that I mentioned to you already.
Now, you're in your clinic, you're dealing with about 2,000 patients, and as you said, 50,000 visits. That you're building a fairly extensive database. Does that go someplace other than to help the clinicians or doctors like yourself?
Yes, the amount of information there has allowed us to better describe and dissect this disease, and it's led to definite changes in treatment and manifestations, and that goes not only to our clinic, that's published in the medical literature. So I have over 400 medical publications dealing with lupus, so that what we've learned goes out to the general medical community around the world.
But you're connected with the University Health Network, and that means that you're part of the research and the science, the wet lab science of any medical analysis. Am I right, or am I giving you more credit than you deserve?
I'll take all the credit you can offer. Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. We're a big unified institution, and certainly there's a lot of interaction. So in our clinic, we have not only clinical researchers, we have basic researchers, all contributing to the research coming out of that clinic.
Doctor, I know you want to get on with the evening, and you're going to be making a speech a little later on. We're going to get a hold of you a little bit. Thank you very much for doing this. You've been very kind and generous with your time. And I know the people here are going to be excited about the fact that you've got a handle on things and you're developing confidence for everybody. Thank you, Doctor.
So much.
So there you have it. Dr. Urowitz was giving an indication that evening to all of the people who were present that science, medicine is there dealing with an issue that a mere 20 years ago would have offered virtually no help to anybody who found himself, herself, themselves in a position of, lack of hope. And so one of those people who has benefited and is benefiting has done so. She was the speaker for the event, and that's Yadira Castro. Her story is heartrending. And right after Dr. Urowitz spoke, Yadira was good enough to offer her personal experience. Here she is.
Hi, everyone. My lupus journey started about 6 years ago when I was diagnosed in December 2013. I went from getting diagnosed with a lot of skin issues and bone issues to getting depression and losing my hair. As the years went by, I started getting pericarditis, which was an inflammation to the heart. I was in and out of the hospital numerous times. I started getting kidney failure as well, and within the last year, I was in the hospital about 7 times. 4 of them I landed in intensive care. One of them I had sepsis, which is an infection to the bloodstream already because of the severe kidney infection that I had. Now, Two of those times they had to actually use revival methods to get me to come back up. So what I really wanted to emphasize on today, though, was the importance of mental health as well, because the last time that I was in the hospital, I was released and I thought I was okay, but once I actually got to my house and I was in my room, I remember just being in such excruciating pain and turning over to my night table where I have my sleeping pills, and I didn't even think about anything else, anything suicidal. All this thought came into my mind, and I reached up to my bottle and I had about half of them. I don't remember much. I was in and out of consciousness after that, but I do remember my 15-year-old son Eric come up to me and he was like, "Mom, what's wrong?" And I told him, to this day, I remember telling him, you gotta let me go, you gotta let mommy go now. I can't be in this pain anymore. I am in so much pain, just let me go. And by the time I opened up my eyes again, I was in the room with my husband, with my sisters that he had called, trying to keep an eye on me 24 hours a day for the next 5 days. And they all tried to help me come out of this. And my son Brandon came to me and he told me, my oldest son, Mom, it's okay. Dad got rid of all the pills. You don't need them. You have the strength. You're a strong woman, and you're gonna beat this. I was scared. That week was awful for me. I was in tears every day. I got an appointment with our doctor, which was like a blessing to us. Dr. Chalias, I really have to commend you on that, because ever since I've been in his care, honestly, he's been just a phone call away, a text away. He's been in the hospitals with me all the time. And he explained to me and my husband when we were there at the hospital that what had happened was that I had gone through a psychosis episode, and that I had depression, that I needed to be seen by a psychiatrist, a psychologist. I've been under their care with antidepressants, with being seen by psychologists, by psychiatrists, and I'm much better now, thanks to the help of, obviously, my loving family, my kids, my husband, my sisters, my brother, my parents, everyone around me. But obviously, especially the outstanding team at the Toronto Western Lupus Clinic, that from the nurses, from the receptionists, from everyone there, they're so knowledgeable. Ever since I was lucky enough to be seen by them with Dr. Gladman, Dr. Hurwitz, and Dr. Chalias, I've never received such an amazing care like I have with them. And so, like Dr. Hurwitz said, this can be actually, none of this can be possible without all your support. Lupus is, the awareness of lupus is very, very minimum in our community. And I can tell you that by when I was going around for donations for this event, whenever I was asking for them, they were telling me, what is lupus? And I had to actually tell them and explain to them what lupus was before I could actually get them to understand. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you for having come out today to support this wonderful event. I hope that you enjoy your night, and thank you for listening.
One of the things that was pointed out during the course of the evening is that the progress in the research and development and the science of lupus and treatment thereof has made enormous strides forward. And that's why Yadira's story is so important. It went from about 20 years ago with a survival rate measured over a 5-year period of mere 50% to now about 90% if it's caught in time. And Yadira is one of those people who was caught in time. And we're really delighted that she also agreed to have a very quick interview with us, because another element in all of this is the role of the family, the immediate loved ones. And that night's event was about enlarging the family to include the medical community and the support community. So here's a brief interview with Yadira, then her children, and her husband.
Now, I've got with me the star of the evening, because she's the guest speaker. She gave a heart-rending story about her experience. It's Yaridi Castro. Yaridi, thank you for doing this.
Hi, I'm Yadira Castro, and thank you for being here today and helping us bring awareness to everyone.
Well, I mean, your story took a lot of courage to tell it, but you're back on track now, right?
I'm trying to. I have my ups and downs. I still have a lot of anxiety attacks that come and go, but my kids have now been basically trained to kind of help me breathe and cope with my depression. When mom is down on the floor, and they know that, mom is having an anxiety attack, and they come and they pick me up and they just cradle me and they start breathing with me, and that's just basically, they've been my rock along with my husband. They're my reason for being here and for fighting every day.
This is all an outcome of a disease that, even though there's been some forward steps in providing some care, some therapy, and to help people understand it, but it really is a difficult disease. It attacks different people in different ways, and this is the way it affects you as well.
It has in many ways, actually. Like I said, I have renal failure, and I have also pericarditis, which is an inflammation to the heart. I have cardiologists, nephrologists, a number of doctors looking after me. But, mental health was basically the last thing that got to me, and it was really, really scary when I actually got the depression it was so severe that, to me, having suicidal thoughts, I would have never thought of that.
But you were lucky, as you indicated, that you had, well, you just said it right now, you've got the support of 4 men in your family. There's your husband, who looks like the youngest guy of the 4, right, and your oldest boy, who actually found you in the condition that forced everybody to take you to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. I had my kids only with me that day, and it was lucky enough that I had my oldest one, Brandon and Eric, with me, and I was actually telling Eric to let me go. Mom needs to go. Just let me go. I'm in so much pain. And I had my oldest one, Brandon, telling me, no, you're gonna get through this. You're gonna fight this through it, and we're gonna get, you're gonna get better, Mom.
Well, and here you are. You've gotten better. Can I talk to them?
Definitely.
Listen, thanks a lot. Can I ask you to move over while I bring your boys in? Come on over, guys. How about this guy here? Come on. So you're Brandon. Come on over here, Brandon. And you're Brandon?
Yeah, I'm Brandon.
And you're
Eric.
And you are?
I'm Andrew.
Oh, what?
Andrew.
Andrew, come on over here, right here in front of me. Right here. Okay, that's better. So I think you guys got lots of courage, and it's good that you're there. You're doing this thing for Mom. You're helping Dad along. Do you want to tell me what your first reaction was when you saw Mom in her condition?
To be honest, I was kind of shocked. But I guess it's hard for some people, but I don't see it that way. I find it as a way to become stronger, for her, for my brothers. I'm there for them.
Good guy. How about you?
When I first encountered her, I was quite frightened. I didn't know what was going on because my mom is never like that. And I know she's a very strong woman. And I think she just needed some reminding in that moment how strong and powerful of a woman she was.
Good guy. Yeah, listen, I know that it's tough, but if the family's there, everything gets better. Am I right?
Yep.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Good man. Now, who's the best guy in the house?
If I had to say, I think it will be Brandon, because one time he cooked for my mom breakfast in bed.
One time. Now, you got to do it from here on in. But who's the rock in the house? It's that guy right over there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my dad.
Okay, thanks, guys. Good of you. Family is everything. Mr. Castro, come on over.
Hi, how are you?
No, I'm great. And you're okay. You got some fine boys here and a great wife.
Well, what can I tell you? I love my family. I love my kids. I love my wife tremendously. So yeah, I'm happy that, you know, like that we're like a family that fights together. That it's very united. Yes.
Good. Now, you know, this is an Italian event, and here they are. They're doing something for a Latin family. De donde viene esta familia?
Mom and dad were both from Ecuador. My kids were born here. Yeah. We're closing down to 30 years in Canada now.
So you're from Ecuador too?
I'm from Ecuador. My wife is from Ecuador. We both migrated in 1990. We didn't know each other, so we met here.
So it was fate. Now, do you want to say something to anybody here in Spanish? Because we got a lot of Spanish viewers.
Para todas las personas que nos escuchan, quiero expresar lo importante que es para la unión de la familia, el amor hacia la esposa, el amor hacia el esposo, el amor hacia tus hijos. Yo creo que el amor es el que nos mantiene juntos, el que nos lleva a luchar día a día y el que nos une siempre y que nos mantiene unidos. Entonces eso yo quisiera decirles es, amen a sus familias, amen a sus niños, a sus esposas y siempre juntos.
You're right. That's exactly the reason why she's still here. And if it hadn't been for the love of the family, her sons and yours as well, it probably would be a different story. Congratulations. May you get better and better and better. All the best. Okay. Muchas gracias. So it's not only a family issue, but it's also about people who lend their time in a volunteer capacity to give structure to all of that networking that develops. And the evening obviously would not have been made possible had it not been for the president of the Ontario Lupus organization. She's a volunteer president. Her name is Linda Keel. She was the master of ceremonies, and she consented to give us an opportunity to tell us something about the organization. Linda Keel. Now, I've got here the person responsible for all of Lupus Ontario. Am I right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, you are.
My name is Linda Keel, and I'm the president of Lupus Ontario.
So that's got to be a pretty healthy job. It's got to keep you busy most of the time.
Well, it does. It's a volunteer position, but I must admit it involves more time than I originally thought it would. But it's a very rewarding volunteer position. I've met a lot of wonderful people, incredible.
Some of the people that you had tonight with helping you out with this organization.
Absolutely. We have amazing volunteers like the Dussin family, the Del Rizzos, and then all the doctors that are here tonight and the politicians that were here to support us. It's absolutely wonderful.
So, politicians aside, and we're going to talk to one in a few minutes, but what happened is that these organizations, these events cannot be possible without the involvement of some of the volunteers that Linda was talking about. And premier amongst those is a very reluctant, camera shy, Sabrina Dussin. One of her kids suffers from lupus, and she marshaled as many people as she could to come here. It's not the first time. So we've got an opportunity. We corralled Sabrina. Here she is. So here I am again. I was lucky to grab Sabrina Dussin. She's the daughter of Joe and Alida that we mentioned a moment or two ago. She's the mother of that young boy who is making great progress. And it's because of her energy, because of her desire to keep the family going. She got mom and dad involved, am I right?
Yeah.
Brother,
friends, yes.
Your husband,
yeah,
and
everyone.
His family.
Aunts and uncles, friends, family, and co-workers.
It's a life-changing.
Yeah.
It's a life-changing issue when you find out that one of your children is.
Yes. Yeah. You wish you just want to take the pain away from him, and you want it to be on yourself, and then you have family and the strength of family to help
take it away from you.
To take it away from me. That's exactly what I have. Yeah.
And so, how's the boy now?
He is doing great. He just turned 18 last week. So now he's graduated from Sickett's Hospital to Mount Sinai, where there's a young adult clinic run by Dr. Silverman. And right now he's doing fantastic. He's stable and he's great. He's 18. He doesn't talk to me much, but he's good.
That's because he's a teenager and he's not going to talk to mom at all.
Exactly.
And I didn't think that you were old enough to have an 18-year-old.
My oldest is actually 19 and a half, almost 20.
Auguri, mama.
Thank you.
Anyway, auguri because you got everybody involved.
Yeah.
Auguri because you're doing something for your son and you're doing somebody for everybody else's son and daughter.
Thank you very much for attending and promoting it and awareness for lupus. Thank you very much.
You know, your family and through the company has done a lot of things.
Yes, they have.
It's good corporate citizenship and it's good personal citizenship.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
So who is that family? We just wanted to talk to them. And again, like most of the people at the event, they're all camera shy, but it's none other than, and sometimes people forget that there are grandparents involved in all of this. And two of them, Giuseppe Dusin and his wife Alida Dusin, are the ones who are the dynamos behind the gathering together of contributors, individuals who tell their stories, and others who came to support. So here's an interview with Alida and Giuseppe Dusin.
Eccomi di nuovo qui con Giuseppe Joe e Alida Dusin, i due sponsors con la loro fabbrica, la loro impresa per questo evento gala della serata. Joe and Alida Dusin, sponsors of this Italian gala dinner dance for the Lupus organization in Ontario. Joe, how long have you been doing this?
Well, we've been doing since we find our grandson with this problem, which is about 4 years ago. Before that, we didn't even know what lupus was, to be honest. But since then, we've been really part. And our daughter, the mother of our grandson, she's been very, very involved, and we've been back her up 100%.
Well, you know, Joe, it's nice that the father of the family does this sort of thing, but I know that Alida does a whole pile of other things, including the Coro San Marco. Am I right? So it must have been devastating for you as a grandmother when you heard that.
Yes, very sad, very shocking. But thank you for the community, friends, and family to give us all the support, and everybody's there to support us. So that's.
Well, I saw your family here, your daughter, your son, your sons-in-law, and everybody's here.
Yes, brother, sister, yes. My family is all here tonight. That's why we are very, very happy for the support that we are getting, not just from the family, but all the friends. Sometimes having a tragedy in the family is not really a tragedy. It helps you get together.
That's like the guest speaker tonight, that young lady, Miss Castro.
Yes, very sad what happened to her. Unfortunately for her, it took longer to be diagnosed. Our grandson was, very bad, but it got diagnosed within 2 months.
But he's much better now. I saw him last year, the year before, and tonight he's much better.
Very, very diligent young man, very, very good. Was accompanied by amazing doctors, so he's doing very well. We're very fortunate.
So you must be pleased, Joe, that the company's contributions to a healthcare system are actually, you can actually see some of the results.
Definitely, we are very proud of what we are doing, and we're very happy to see the result of what we are doing, and hopefully be more people that are putting money on this cause, because it really is a devastating situation for some people. We are very lucky that our grandson is doing very well, and hopefully can carry on, but this disease is something that can break in at any time and become difference. But anyway, we are very happy to participate in this, and we have all our friends, our family, and everything else. So we are very happy, honored, and lucky that we have this support.
Well, I saw that there's all kinds of people here that you're familiar with, and you've reached out to everybody. So compliments to you both. It's what do they say? Good corporate citizenship, but it's nice to have the family behind you.
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much to all of us, to all of the people that participate tonight and through the year, because it's not just tonight. Tonight is only one single thing, but over the year, day by day, they are always with us.
We're going to have to get Coro San Marco on this as well.
Absolutely, yes. Actually, we are planning a tour in Italy.
So we're going to have to talk to you about that. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so there you have a family from Alpine Welding, had reached out to their friends at Carpenters Local 27 to be sponsors of an event like this, not just this year, but last year as well. And a good bulk of that money goes to medical science research for therapies and other medicines, etc. We talked to a senior member of that team, Dr. Urowitz, and here's a junior member of that team, somebody who was a clinician and who was honored that night as well, and I'm talking about none other than Dr. Anita Dhanrajani. She consented to give us a little bit of an interview as well. So here we go with Dr. Anita Dhanrajani.
I think I'm very, very lucky that I'm getting to learn from the best people in lupus. Hospital for Sick Children, it has the best lupus teams ever. And I'm very fortunate that I'm going to be able to learn how to diagnose patients with lupus, to do a lot of research about lupus, and I'm hoping that someday, like Dr. Urowitz said today, that we've come so far in improving the outcomes of lupus. I hope that someday, 20 years from today, our research will take us to better places than we are today.
So how much longer do you expect to be here in the University Health Network?
So I'm actually at Hospital for Sick Children, so this fellowship will keep me here till end of this year, but whatever opportunity I get after that, I'm open to either staying in Toronto or going anywhere in Canada, wherever it is required for lupus doctors to be there.
Now, we heard that there's, it's obviously a developing study. It's been great strides, but we didn't hear that there was that children are the ones that are affected by it. Typically, it takes a little bit longer as they get closer to adulthood, or is that a wrong impression?
It's actually, yes, it is more common in adults. Not a lot of people know that it occurs in kids. We've seen kids as young as 3 years old. That's not the common story. It is very, very common in teenagers, though. So 80% of our patient population at Sick Kids would be, say, between 13 to 17 years. So it's way more common in children than people think it is. So yeah, that is a bit of a misconception that it can only happen in adults.
Well, listen, thank you very much for all of that. You're obviously a very young doctor, and that means that we're putting a lot of investment in people who are going to be here for a long time. Congratulations. All the best.
So we've seen how monies go towards developing a cadre of clinicians, medical practitioners, and others who are going to provide, first of all, the diagnosis, then the prognosis, and then obviously the therapies that are associated with repair and turning to normalcy. And so that also involves government monies. And we had the good fortune to have somebody who has been tagged in Ottawa this last week to address those issues with rare diseases and others, and actually made a presentation in the House of Commons. I refer to Francisco Sorbara, the local member of Parliament for that area in Vaughan Woodbridge. Here he is with a very brief interview.
Okay, here I am with Member of Parliament Francisco Sorbara. He's been going from event to event over the course of these last few days, because yesterday was Rare Disease Event Day in Ottawa. Am I right, Francisco?
Yes, it was this week we celebrate the 12th anniversary flag raising of the Rare Disease Day in Ottawa, and it happened worldwide. And I was one of the co-hosts of the event. It was a spectacular success, and it's a great initiative to be part of.
So last night, I saw you at an event. It was a huge event. This one's a successful event. That one was as well. The last night event was a different one. What was it about?
Last night we celebrated the 20th anniversary of the Shining Through Center, founded by 5 families about 20 years ago, where we had limited resources for autism therapy for kids. And these 5 families came together, and last night we marked 20 years of the Shining Through Center providing education for kids with autism.
But there was another event as well, and that one you had to skip. I know a little bit about this. You have to go from event to event. What was that other event?
Well, the other event was the Yellow Brick House, which supports women, supports families in need. Again, here in York Region, we have so many community members coming together to give their time, their resources, to supporting causes to help the greater good, to help families that really need help, and to make progress in a number of causes. Here tonight, lupus. Last night, autism. Earlier this week, rare diseases. A lot of great things happening in our community, Joe.
Well, there's an event on childhood leukemia.
Oh, yes. Last night there was an event here on childhood leukemia. Again, someone in the community is being diagnosed, and the community again rallies around here in Vaughan to help to support this young girl and her family, pay for some of the medical expenses and some of the expenses they're incurring with her treatment. And we give her God's blessing and God's prayers, along with the great doctors and scientists we have here in Canada that are trying to find the cures for these diseases.
Well, okay, Francisco, this has been kind of a 2 or 3 days where these kinds of events are designed to not only raise awareness, but to make governments aware that public funding has got to match the enthusiasm and the networking.
Well, I know on the federal side, we've invested literally billions of dollars into science, into universities, into our granting councils, and those funds flow directly to do research on lupus, to help to look at new therapies for autism, to look out on cancer, childhood cancers and adult cancers. So on our side, the federal government, we are committed. We're at the table, and we put science as a top priority, which I'm really, really happy to see.
Well, as you could see there are representatives from the business community, the social community, the cultural community. I noticed Dan Montesano from Lido Construction, who appears at virtually every social event as a contributor. And we've seen all of the other contributors. Again, special kudos to Alpine Welding and to Carpenters Union, Local 27, and to all the doctors and community workers who decided not only to increase awareness, but to give an indication of hope and direction for research down the road. Joe Volpe, on behalf of Go Live TV, Corriere Media Group, and of course Corriere Canadese, always delighted to be of help in the community for events like this, which are designed to help everybody, especially in those areas where governments have yet to catch up. We hope that they do, and that they do so soon. Thank you very much. We'll see you very soon. Congratulations to all the people from Lupus, Ontario, and to the Dussin family.